Well, look at this. We're
Yeah,
live.
we are live.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
First episode of Building Wealth and Health. Joining me on the Built by Bailey's channel is Dr. Matt. You can see by the Dr. Matt, by his name, that he's probably on the building health side of this whole thing. Good evening, Dr. Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. How's it going?
It's going okay. It's going okay. Yeah, nice. I got a little sipper of whiskey next to me as we
nice.
As we dive into this evening. This is exciting. I've never done a live YouTube. Have you?
No.
Yeah, I haven't done anything like this.
I need to I like it though. I know they really want people to do more on YouTube, like for visibility and stuff. It really helps. So yeah, it's a good idea to do.
Yeah, this is cool. Oh, look, we got Ego the Lego in here. What's up, Ego the Lego? What's up? What's up? Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Building Wealth and Health channel, episode on the Built by Bailey's channel. I'm glad you guys are popping in. I'm going to put my old man glasses on. Actually, they're not old man glasses. I've had, Matt knows this. So Dr. Matt and I go way back. I guess we'll start with doing a little.
We should share a little bit about our history.
Yeah,
it's true.
We've known each other for a long time, almost 100 years probably at this point.
Feels like it.
Way back to like middle school.
Yeah.
I think like that was
12 or 13, probably.
Yeah, right around there with K-Life and all that fun stuff they were in. Yeah, so that's hey,
Learner.
I know a couple of these guys.
What is up?
Mr. Learner, how are you, sir? How are you? Yeah, so these glasses are a stigmatism problem that I've had since high school. So these aren't actually old, even though I'm an old man, these are not old man glasses. And I didn't pay for my eyes. I'm gonna make fun of Dr. Matt for a minute. I didn't pay for my eyes, and he's still wearing glasses. So
yeah, it lasted about 20 years, and then you needed glasses again. So,
but whatever. I mean, so for you, you got LASIK, right?
I did.
Yeah, and then you said about 20 years of pretty close to perfect version, or what?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what happened?
Pretty good for a while. Just slowly started getting worse again. So yeah.
And now what's your vision?
Oh, pretty shitty. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't. It's pretty poor. So
when you were having you were having problems with like driving at night, or when did you start seeing
long distance, and then first at night and then long distance and yeah. So
yeah. Are you doing the old man thing now? Are you playing the trombone or this stuff?
No, not too bad. It's funny. They wanted they want me to have like the
bifocal.
Yeah, but it's like not even really a bifocal. It's more just for the distance, and then the up close would be no correction. But I can't. I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. So
yeah,
I'm doing okay with the up close, even with these glasses. So for now, at least. So, but yeah, it's more that I had. It's harder to see up close with them. But anyway,
yeah, that's how mine are too. It's I don't know. Stigmatisms are weird anyway, but I've had this issue since I was a kid. But I have to take them off most of the time to read.
Yeah,
because if I pick something up to read my phone or something, it's like right about here it gets blurry.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I've got that like whatever that blue blocker level is on my glasses, so it's protecting my eyes from
all the computer work. Yeah.
Yeah. Wolf says I'm about to get LASIK too. It'll last me until I'm 50. I'll take it, bro. I don't know. I think I'd keep waiting.
50 comes up faster than you think.
Man. Yeah, I think Wolf's kind of young, but it's it definitely Learner knows how fast 50's gonna hit him. It comes up, man. It comes up fast. It's that's what we always preach.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why. Yeah, that's kind of why we wanted to do this. One of the reasons we wanted to do this kind of podcast, right? And
and so we're hoping on this. We're gonna try and do this every Wednesday about the same time in the evenings. We're gonna talk about ways to continue growing your money, but it's really kind of nonsense to work on all that stuff if you don't have health.
Yeah.
And that's, Matt and I have been, again, we've known each other a long time, but we've preached on this forever. If you guys you're not taking care of your health, then you could have, as much money as Elon Musk, and it's not going to make any bit of difference. I mean, look what happened to Steve Jobs, sadly. Guy was worth a lot of money and he got sick with cancer. So
yeah,
some of those things you can't prevent, but we'll talk about the stuff you can. So yeah. I didn't know Troy got LASIK.
He was blind. I remember.
That's
just like me.
That's unfortunate. See, that's why I didn't do it. See, I'm just wearing my glasses, man.
You're so smart, man. You're so smart.
But you know what? My wife, Katrina, got LASIK. Hers has been probably at least 20 years. At least 20 years. And she's still got perfect vision. So, and my mom, same thing. She got hers like 25 years ago. My mom was legally blind. And she's still got perfect vision. So I don't know what it is. Maybe you got a really crappy doctor, bud. Maybe all you guys did.
Probably.
Troy's a dream crusher. Don't worry about it, Wolf. Troy's a dream crusher for sure. All right. Well, you guys, I'm glad everybody's in here. Hopefully
thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. This should be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do something with Matt for a while. Sorry, Dr. Matt. But we're going to just bear with us as the technology grows on us with this. Again, I've never done a live stream, but it's going to be pretty cool. I've played with this whole thing for a little bit. So we could, just for shits and grins, we could take a look at our Bitcoin wallets.
Oh, God.
How'd you do today, Lorna? Did you lose a lot of money in the crypto? So this is the 1 minute chart on Bitcoin. This is one thing I've been telling people for a while as far as crypto. My mother-in-law approached me a long time ago. But it's something I wish I jumped in on when she was talking about initially. So it's definitely, Dr. Matt knows I'm a really tinfoil guy, but I've definitely got my opinions on all this stuff and where it's going. I've certainly invested in several different. I've got some Bitcoin. I've got some Cardano. I kind of kicked around Doge for a little bit just because it was funny and a joke, but it made me a little bit of money. And I got some Ether. I know Matt's got some Ethereum too. So we, as a group, as the crypto junkies today, we got slapped around with a lot of unmasking maybe in a little bit, but at the same time, this is a very volatile thing to trade no matter what it is. And news is going to sway it more than anything else in any other market. So this has been a fun day to watch this. I'm calling this the Elon bottom right here, by the way. This is right here. This is where Elon's going to buy some more. We'll see. If it flushes 30, then I'm gonna let it crash completely, and I'll buy some more. I don't know what you guys have on opinions on that, but did you look at your wallet today, Dr. Matt?
No, I did not.
On purpose, or just because you didn't have time?
I think I looked at the overall value of things and just didn't look after that.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone with this whole crypto thing knows it's pretty volatile. It's going to go up and down. So it's kind of you're not really investing in it for the short term. You're investing in it because of the potential you're seeing and what it could be, right? My
opinion is the real way to do this is, it's a long-term hold. I know plenty of guys that are making money literally almost day trading it.
Right.
I'd rather not. I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
And so far, I think I've made more money just going long on it and just buying and holding than the guys that are flipping it, no matter what coin it is. It's, right. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's what you and I talk about, a lot is, we're sort of seeing a shift in kind of how people are wanting to use money or understanding money and what it looks like. And so I think that's you're buying into a idea in that sense, in my opinion. So it's not going to change very soon.
Yeah, I mean, having a grasp of what it really is too is important. There's so many
Yeah.
people that
Oh,
are
for sure.
literally just
Yeah. Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
onto Coinbase or whatever it is and just buying stuff.
Hmm.
It's,
And
I mean,
losing a lot. Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's dangerous to
Yeah.
on anything. You know, it's dangerous to, I don't know, I
Sure.
like the car companies that are out there selling online. It's dangerous to buy a car without driving, in my opinion, but maybe
Hmm.
just call me old for that, I guess. Yeah. Wolf dollar cost averaging, yeah. Um, but you got to know what that is too, right? I mean, I just think the crypto market it's just like the whole GameStop, AMC, all the meme stock kind of stuff. I mean, understanding what was happening and making money was one thing on those, but the people that literally just dove in
Yeah.
because they were watching Reddit. I mean, we're not gonna talk a lot about stocks on this, but at the same time, it's understanding if you're building wealth,
Yeah.
you better know where your money's going and you better know what your money's worth and what it does. I mean, we talk about the history later on and other shows about the history of money because it's fascinating to me what it really is. I mean, I know you've read a bunch of stuff on it too, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah. It's really at the core of so many things, right?
yeah,
So much.
yeah, it's fascinating and disturbing at the same time. The deeper you go down that rabbit hole of understanding, usury and, greenbacks in securities and the history of the Fed and when it started and why. And I
Right.
mean, God, you could get lost in it, but understanding, like the more you understand, the more depressing it can get too. And that's why my
Yeah.
wife harps on me to like stay away, but I really can't help myself, It's the way I understand. It's the way I understand money, and my whole goal, from way back when, was to make as much as I could, and I got derailed listening to the wrong people for a while. But the reason I'm trying to make as much money as I can is not only to better myself and my family, but I want to help people, and there's no better way, in my opinion, to do that than make as much as you can. And we talk about that energy flow. We'll talk about
Right.
what Dr. Matt does too, but that energy flow and getting in the right stream, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've both been through that many times in our lives.
Yeah, it's really significant, isn't it? I mean, I think the energy flow of building wealth is it's really, really similar to building your health. I think, and trying to understand how these things move and flow and how you connect to it and engage with it. And this sounds really like kind of woo, kind of woo woo and out there, but I think when people experience it, it's not, you really are like, yep, that's, it's,
Totally.
I had a conversation with a patient yesterday, just talking about the importance of kind of getting, kind of getting started. And I feel like there's so much that in health, it's really just about starting the ball rolling. It's just
Yep.
starting the snow, and there's something in biological systems and things that are, we call it feed forward cycles or feed forward reactions, where basically the reaction just kind of speeds up and builds momentum as it goes, but you got to get it started first. And there's limiting pieces in getting these things started. And when you understand, those, some of those ideas and some of those ways of working, yeah, I mean, things just start to move.
Yeah, that's
So,
100% true. I mean, and like I said, we've literally witnessed it and experienced it in our own lives.
no doubt.
And it's funny because you think you're like, well, I feel like I'm going the right direction and I'm doing these things and it's,
right.
Whatever. And all of a sudden, it's still working against you in some way, or it feels like you've got a little momentum and then you get slapped in the face and something happens and you're like, well, I'm doing everything right. And like, no, you're not. You're still resisting that, or you're going upstream and you're, swimming like a salmon. Yeah, greenbacks is a racial slur. No, I know, Wolf. I'm not going to comment on your generation. I'm definitely a little bit older than you. But I don't know. Us being in school throughout the years and knowing what was taught to us and knowing what was really out there and what we were taught and what we should have been learning is that's why I'm doing my channel, is just trying to educate in the real world as much as possible. I think developing skills in so many areas is so important.
Yeah.
Even in this last year, I've been trying to learn more about like what is a virus for real, and that's why I've been picking your brain and
Right.
trying to understand what the hell is going on. And
Yeah.
I think it's just, the more information you can have, you can never stop learning, right? So the more
Right.
information you have, the better. And
Yeah.
I think we've been trying to kind of figure some way of delivering that together on some level.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah. Gonna give it a try at least, right? And
Yeah,
see,
for sure, man, for sure.
I
I just
think,
like talking, and I got a lot of different things I'm interested in, and I know you do too. And
yeah.
it should be good. There's one last chart for everybody to look at. That's Ethereum. Where are we at right now? Yuck.
Yeah. Don't even tell me.
42 looks so much better.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. I'm seeing some levels of support here again established. So
Yeah.
long term is long term. You just
Yep.
got to hold. Just got to hold, baby. Let me briefly take a look at, this is a couple of things I wanted to talk about on my end too, as far as, the guys that are in here know, and that I am also in the real estate market. I'm a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor. And I'm becoming very active again in the markets. I've been active, I would say, for the last few years, but the fascinating part with real estate, with everything that's happened in the last year, has been mind-boggling to me. At the same time, again, gets my tin brewing, understanding what's really happening, what's tin and what's not. And I say tin, but there's just things that they're kind of, behind the curtain that you have to understand. Again, just understanding what you're doing and what you're buying. Dr. Matt just bought himself a new condo recently, which is going to be a long-term hold for him. He's going to turn it into an investment property here sooner than later. Just see what happens. But
Yeah.
owning real estate is always a good idea. It doesn't have to be your primary residence. Just getting in at some level, you just got to be like anything else. You got to be careful of what you're paying for it and what it is and where it is and blah, blah, blah. But that's why you have people around and surround you that have information. Again, that's why we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a couple key things in this last week that were mind boggling to me, especially in just like the last year with everything else that's transpired, like median list price, right? So it grew at 15% over the last year. So year to date, this is from May 8th. Keep in mind, this is May 8th. Median prices grew at 15%. No, median price is the middle price. If you guys don't know, if you remember from your math classes in probably middle school, median means the middle price, not the average. But that's literally where it grew 15%. That's like the beef of the market ran another 15% higher in the last year. That's mind-boggling. So people are still buying, right? And that's just pushing. That's pushing the market's being pushed because, again, there's nothing out there to buy. So when people are out there trying, and I've talked about this in other videos, supply and demand, it just keeps pushing that price up because there's just nothing on the market. That is, at least here in this market, it hasn't changed much. There's nothing on the market still. So that's going to continue to go. So that's 39 consecutive weeks of double-digit growth. That's nuts.
That's really
nuts. New listings. So sellers putting up homes for sale. It's up 5%, adding to gains of 18% or more in the last 4 weeks. So that's just as of, full month of April. These numbers are just crazy still. I mean, the real estate market is insane. And there's nothing else you can say about it. Total active inventory remains 52% below this time last year. So think about that. Even when we had a tight market last year, like coming into January 2020, February 2020, and into March, where everything just completely like literally the brakes were put on at a dramatic rate.
Right.
It's, that the market was still tight then, right? It was still insanely low inventory. It's 52% lower than this time last year. Okay. So that's as of things were starting to open up between May and June of last year. I mean, there was, as far as like people feeling comfortable with their house on the market, they're going to sell, but still wasn't much inventory. It's still half of what it was, right? Time on market is 28 days faster than it was last year. So people are buying at a more rapid rate than they even were last year and last summer. Again, this is like, as the real estate, I would call it the real estate reopening last year. That's pretty wild. Median list prices First 2 weeks of March 2020, 4.5% up. The week ending April 24th of this year, 15.4%.
Oh my God.
It's just, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around those numbers.
No.
And then you combine that. So here's your interest rates, right? There's your 30-year fix, 15, and then the 5/1 arms. By the way, I hate that they put this in here, these arms. I mean, for the average person, that's like, just stay away from that for the most part.
Yep.
If you want to talk about real estate investments, one thing, but so look at, here's rates as of today, 3.1. You can buy that down if you want, but that's still, like, people are talking about rates are running, go buy. 3.1% is crazy low still. Again, going back and learning about history. You want to talk about, like, even when our parents were buying homes, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
11, 12, 15%. When I bought my first home, when was that? That was a million years ago. So that was probably 2004 when I bought my first primary residence. For me, that's when I owned my first home where I lived in it. That was a rate of 5.4%.
Yeah.
So still
amazing. That was a cool house.
It was a good little starter home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good little starter home. I enjoyed that. Yeah. Yep. So there you go.
Wow.
I was peeking at the market stuff real quick too. It's been an eye-opening couple of weeks for sure. Just watching what's going on. I'm not going to go deep into it. The one other thing I was kind of charting and I've been kind of watching for a while is lumber prices. Obviously, I'm in the home building business, so I got to understand what's happening regardless of that. But I'm also charting that in relation to gold and then watching the VIX. So
interesting.
You can see what's happening with lumber. So this is futures. This is current contract in front. So keep an eye on this number right here. We'll just keep watching this, but we'll keep updating on this stuff. But yeah, there is a trend happening for sure. I'm not going to throw out my tin yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Everybody just needs to be ready. All right. So that being said, go buy real estate. Dr. Matt's still loving his, aren't you?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's been a good spot. So
that last chart, Wolf, that was lumber futures. So that's the current contract in front. It should be May. And then that's comparing to golds. So that's gold futures. All I'm doing is just I'm charting that. So that relationship along with VIX spikes is what I kind of watch for, kind of a roundabout turn in general market conditions. I've been watching this since I kind of really started dipping into market stuff back in like 2006, 2007. Obviously, right before things got really wild. That was my first understanding of like a flip-flop. But I've been researching this in the last 18 months, especially with lumber futures, just to see if I can get any sort of bearing on when we're going to have an actual real reversal. And I've just got my theory on how that works based on past charting. So we'll see. It definitely has. There's definitely more movement right now, so I'm just kind of watching it. But I'll do some more videos on that to explain it. I've done a couple, but it's getting bigger. Let's just put it that way. It's getting to the point where I have this in front of me when I'm in the office all day. So that's all I'll say on that for now.
He's got his finger on the pulse of that one.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Yeah. Right on, man.
Well, as I sit here drinking my Imperial beer, let's talk about health.
Yeah.
So Dr. Matt, just because it's our first one, talk a little bit about what you do, man, and the cool stuff that you do.
So I am a naturopathic doctor. So my focus in medicine is on natural medicine. My schooling was through, I went to CU Denver, have a biology degree, and then I have a doctor of naturopathic medicine degree from a school in Oregon. It's called the National University of Natural Medicine. And yeah, I've been doing this for, God, I think almost 20 years, man. 19 years this year. It's crazy.
Time flies, brother.
But yeah, so, really my focus is about, naturopathic medicine is really about connecting to the way our body naturally works, it's connecting to nature. It's about finding the true cause of issues and not just treating the symptoms. It is, you're really treating the whole person instead of just, pieces and parts and trying to chase around different symptoms, really try to build up a foundation of health. And you're really all about prevention, really at the end of the day. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. And that's, I think what Shane and I talk about constantly is just really how do we build resiliency and build health and prevent a lot of the chronic things that we see in, our parents and in just the world around us in general. So, yeah, a lot of what I do is nutrition related. What you put in your body is so important in all this. How well you clear away toxins. The world we live in has so much stuff we got to deal with, just from a hormone standpoint to everything. There's so many different things.
Yep. And everything's toxic anymore.
Yeah, just so supporting people and being able to clear that stuff out and help them, do that more effectively. We're doing it all the time anyway, but doing it better. And yeah, just really trying a lot of education. A lot of what I do is education, just teaching people about their bodies, teaching people about how things work. And, yeah, at the end of the day, that's kind of how I see myself, such a big educator about a lot of this. So.
Yeah. Especially in this last year of a wild time.
For sure.
There's obviously nothing in our lifetime have we experienced something like this.
Yeah.
For most people's lifetimes, really, it's been eye-opening on so many different levels. And that's why I was like, I gotta, I've always been a proponent of trying to stay healthy and eat right. And again, I've known Dr. Matt a long time. So I always lean on him for questions. And, the difference between I would call it the Western medicine world and then naturopathic medicine. If you guys don't have an idea of what a naturopathic doctor is, go do some research on it. They've been around a lot longer than everything else that you're accustomed to, for sure. And I think there's a good balance between the two worlds. But I've seen a lot of especially in the last year, a lot of resistance between the two. Seen a lot of people out there trying to, and obviously Dr. Matt has a proponent of, what should be done with your body versus what people do, kind of thing. And I've always tried to. No one's perfect. Obviously, I'm certainly not perfect, but I always played sports, so I tried staying with that as long as I could. I certainly have my injuries that from not paying attention to things, but getting into my less youthful years, shall we say, it was becoming even more apparent that I need to stay with it and try and eat right as much as I could. And I lift weights. I do a lot of cardio. I tried to, I played sports for a while. In fact, I don't know if Troy's still in here, but we even did and Matt too, we played post-college lacrosse in a men's club team for a few years. That was fun, just trying to, more just for the camaraderie, but it was fun. It's, try and stay fit, but just doing all those things was super important. My mom always said, if you don't have your health, what do you have? Yeah. So, as I'm running through all that stuff,
it's, and it's really crazy, man. People aren't healthy. It really are poor health. There was a study that came
in this country.
Oh yeah. There's a study that came out in 2018 that looked at all these different lab reports. It was like a meta-analysis of all these different labs and thousands and thousands of labs. And when they compiled all the data, they realized that only 12% of the tests that they looked at had no problematic markers in them.
Jeez.
88% of them had some level of dysfunction on these lab tests. And, so, here we have a population of people that metabolically, and when we talk metabolism, we're talking about blood sugar control, We're talking about muscle mass. We're talking about hormonal regulation, all that kind of stuff. All plays together. It's like one
Mhm.
thing, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about these kind of markers. That those are the things that are way out of whack for people, and it just sets up a system, a susceptibility for all kinds of things going on. And so here we have a population that's really poorly in poor health, and then it's a prime place for viral issues and other things to come on board and create problems. And that's really what we saw. And we've known this from the beginning
Yeah.
of this whole last year. But here's the thing, man, it's not new.
No, none of it is.
It's not
No,
new
not
at
even close.
all. And it's just sort of like showing a big spotlight on it,
Mhm.
Which, in some ways is really good. I'm glad we did, but it's on the other ways, I think what's more frustrating for me is watching and this is what you and I talk about all the time. And I don't know how far down this rabbit hole we want to go tonight. But,
Well, we've got
but
plenty more of these shows to
yeah,
do, but we can
exactly. But I
certainly.
mean, this is kind of like what we talk about is like, the response and the way that we've approached things and how, I mean, I was talking to somebody, who was I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but anyway, we're just talking about like what an amazing, opportunity was missed
Yeah.
here, right? Like, imagine if we would have had like a public health model that would have recognized, number one, the most vulnerable people and protected them, but number two, the people who weren't vulnerable, but were, or at least not as much as the others, but were unhealthy, metabolically unhealthy, which is like 88% of us.
Right.
And they said, hey, we better get our shit together. We better deal with this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you outside. We're going to start teaching people to exercise and eat better. I mean, what an amazing opportunity we could have had to actually create a healthy society.
Yeah.
And it's just been clear to me that there's no interest in doing that.
There's no interest in doing that. And I think there's several reasons why.
Not in a public health model.
Correct.
And that's why I think, and you and I talk about this all the time too, is, it's about us taking responsibility for our health.
Yeah.
And we can't rely on that. And if we do rely on that, well, we see what they do. not a damn thing, it's so, that's kind of why.
Wolf, trust me. We're there with you. Trust me. It's like
there's a
Matt
lot
and I meet for drinks on Fridays just so we can get all the garbage out of our heads.
Just download everything.
Just download everything.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I think the last year has been, and we're, we'll have many more of these discussions because you're investing in your body from the day you're born, right?
Yeah.
From the day you understand what you're doing for sure. And then there's a point where, when if your parents are good, like ours were at making sure we're eating, right?
Yep.
We're eating correctly. Yeah. But then you go off and you become big boys and big girls, and you have to like take what that's, what's been given. You have to understand what you're doing. And
right.
And people say, well, it's easier to not eat right. It's cheaper. Like people don't have money. It's cheaper to not eat right. Mm-hmm. And there is a component there.
Yeah.
But I just think it's because people don't have any desire to put any effort in, because especially and I'll speak for just this country, because in my opinion, and I've been shunned for this before. I've been yelled at and looked at funny as saying that I think we have the most unhealthy country in the entire world. And definitely. I think the numbers speak for that for sure. Yep. And I don't think they don't invest in and they don't invest in their body because they don't want to. They're not taught correctly. Like you just talked about, they're not given that information, and the information is pulled away from them. Right. It's not out there.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing, right? Like, how do you find the information? How do you, for me, it's funny. I mean, this is my world, right? Like this is like what I do. The people I know, the people I talk to, the books I read, the podcasts I listen to. I mean, this is the stuff I'm immersed in.
My wife has just poked in. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Hello, Katrina. My wife's a PA, by the way, so she's certainly on the same page with Dr. Matt.
Yeah, but it's I forget that people don't know this stuff. I forget sometimes that people need that level of almost, real basics. And I love it. I mean, I want to share that. I think it's so important, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And I hope we can use this, platform to do some of that stuff, for people, to want to,
I mean, we're going to talk about how to invest your money, but you better understand how to invest in your body. And that's the whole point of this whole thing that we're doing to me, they go hand in hand. Like I've been preaching this since the beginning of the show, but it goes hand in hand. Like you have all the money in the world. What up, Coop? You don't have all the money in the world, then it doesn't matter if you're sick as hell or you're obese or you've got type 2 diabetes. I've got people in my family. There's no reason at all they should have type 2 diabetes. There's no reason. No. And to me, and this is my opinion, it's inconceivable how people can get there. But I understand it, at the same time, I understand how they can get there. I certainly get it. But instead of the doctor telling them, here's how we can get you out of this, what do they do? What do they do? They give you drugs.
Troy, it's not a Coke. It's a Imperial.
Oh, do you want to see what I'm?
It's an Imperial beer.
I'll fix my webcam. It's not. It's slightly
he knows
better. And I already made the comment, Mr. Lerner, earlier.
He knows better than to drink soda around me.
I have never liked soda. Honestly, I've never really liked soda. I don't drink it.
Yeah.
So cheers.
Yeah. Lots of judgment on my end for that from him. He knows it. No, it's but yeah, so I mean, I hope we, I want people, at the end, of the day to understand the.
I already prefaced it with shame on me. Trust me.
Well, and here's the thing too, and actually, this is actually not a bad kind of thing to think about.
I needed one today, buddy.
I think when people get healthier, when they build some health and have some foundation, it's kind of like having a savings account in your bank, right?
Yep.
You have a little more wiggle room. You have a little more play that you can have around some of these things. Should you go out and spend all your money all at once from your savings account? No, but you have more freedom, for lack of a better word, to indulge a little bit. And
again, like I said, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And I'm certainly not going to stand here or sit here at this point, because I'm sitting, and say that I'm the epitome of the poster boy for health. I do my best, but I'm certainly going to indulge in things that I want to indulge in, because again, mental health is part of this too. Everything's taken with a grain of salt, and everything's, I don't go crazy like I was in my 20s.
There's an old naturopathic story of an old doc, and which doc was, I can't remember who it was, but he one of the old,
I like bagels.
One of the old docs, and he had his saying was everybody needs to have at least 2 vices. he didn't trust anyone who didn't have 2 vices. And I thought that was pretty funny, and it's to your point, about kind of what you enjoy, life and mental health, and there's a balance. I guess balance is there, right? And
balance is key.
Yeah, if you've got a really depleted system, if you've got a huge toxic burden, if you've got a big stressful life and job and marriage and all this stuff, I mean, it's just sitting there eating pizza and soda every day is not going to really help. So how do we build? Yeah, exactly, Troy. Yeah, like that health capital, build it up, get your body stronger, and then you're able to.
So this would be the options contract that I'm buying on my health. Okay. Does that make more sense? It's a gamble, but at the same time, it could pay off.
How does that pay off exactly?
Mentally, it does.
Mentally. Right. Yeah.
Short term. It's short-term gains, man.
Short-term gain, right. No, I hear you. So, I mean, those are all really cool things to have conversations about, I think, exploring those types of things with people, because life's too short to, be so serious about it all, but we got to be smart too, right?
You got to be smart. Absolutely got to be smart. Listen, I'm trying to teach my kids all this stuff. My wife's way better at explaining the science behind all of it than I am. They just see me sweat every day, and it's cute because as I roll my eyes at this, on Mondays they're still asynchronous for school, but they have, as for both of them, and they're one's in middle school and one's in elementary school. They still have a gym component they're supposed to do every week. They have gym in school in person, but they're given tasks on Mondays to do for fitness as well. And I mean, obviously we do our own things, but in the mornings they've been doing for a while. They've been doing that kind of asynchronous workout together. And my son it was really cute the other day. He was like, he pulled his shirt up and he's like, got a 6-pack. You got a 6-pack. I'm like, well, you have a 12-year-old stomach. That's great.
That's right. Oh my God, that's awesome.
But he's starting to he's starting to see the payoff. We talk about investing in that. Like he's investing in it.
Yeah.
He of course he understands it, but in it, at that age it's different. But he's seeing the investment return on him.
Yeah.
And if you can get that at an early age, man, I feel like you've got you're head and shoulders above most people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, one thing you guys should check out is, if you really want an interesting kind of public health discussion, is look up what John F. Kennedy, his speeches and some stuff about physical fitness. And there's actually some really fascinating videos from the 60s of high schools and middle schools doing his physical fitness program.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, just the amount of strength and you see in these young men, and mostly young men, I think, in the videos that I saw, but I mean, just incredible, and we just don't see that anymore. The reason I bring that up is not political in any way, but just to be like, hey, here was a president that had an idea that said, hey, if our nation is fit, we will be better off. And here's one way that we're going to do it. In fact, you can find still his workout that they would do in the classroom. It was like these 10 exercises that they would do like every day, like pretty fast. It's simple stuff too. But anyway, I thought it was really cool to see. And I wish we had more leaders that were in that mindset. But
yeah, I don't think we have any right now. I think there's reasons behind that, and we'll get. Yeah, I love getting into the tinfoil stuff. We'll get into that some other time, but I think there's reasons behind some of that for sure. Yeah. Truffle fries, bro, you got to stop. It's dinner time. We talked about balance, Coop. It's okay. Just what are you going to do tomorrow? But Matt, you talked about something in kind of speaking with that. You talked about something about like Kennedy back in the 60s. But you talked about like testosterone levels in men. You were telling me the other day.
Fascinating stuff. Yeah, check this out, you guys. So in the 40s,
Wolf, check this out. Here you go.
Yeah, so like right around World War II, it's estimated that men's testosterone was around 1,200. And now the average male testosterone is somewhere between 600 and 700.
It's like half.
It's literally 40 to 50% less in men. And I was just blown away by that, number. I mean, I knew it was somewhat lower. I didn't realize it was that much lower.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. But it's something I've been personally just been thinking about, and like what would life be like at 1,200 testosterone? My level at 1,200. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what mine is. I haven't ever really tested mine,
it's probably not 1,200.
Man, come on.
Maybe it's 800. I mean, I don't know.
My hairline.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's, what, man, what we should do? One of the things we should do, we should get you that hormone test I was talking about.
Yeah.
And we could go through some of the results, and I can share mine. I'm happy to share some of mine, and you, I don't know, it's up to you if you want to.
Yeah, I don't care.
But we could talk about some of that stuff, because I think people would be interested in some of these ways of testing, ways of understanding some of this stuff, because it's all related.
Yeah, well, and Wolf was talking about benchmarks, and that's certainly one of them to kind of look at. Matt's got stats for decades to go through. We can go through a lot of stuff, in these as we continue on this journey on Wednesdays. But what was the name of the machine that we used to use at Altitude Adventures that tested
I
phase
still have
angle? Do you
it.
remember that?
Yeah, I still have it.
Do you have that?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, that was a
It's
benchmark.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of ways we can test for people, right, to get sort of sense of what kind of levels are. Whether it's blood tests to look at various markers, or you can look at like what Shane's talking about is this machine called the bioimpedance analysis machine that measures it puts a small electric current through the body, and you end up getting different, it shows your kind of your body composition as far as your muscle mass and your fat mass and active tissue in the body. It's pretty cool. So it's a kind of a way to get some baseline markers for people. But yeah, I mean, there's labs that can be done. There's all kinds of different ones. Like, it's crazy. That world is insane.
Yeah, for sure.
You could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on lab testing if you wanted to. And sometimes it's important, but
that's literal invested in money.
That is 100%.
Yeah, that's
but what we could do is we could put together, another part of the conversation around that could be, what are some good biomarkers to have? Like, here's something that, like what you're asking here. Yeah. What should we check for? What should we be asking for? Off the top of my head, I mean, yeah, poor man's version. There's, it kind of depends. I mean, I think, it kind of depends what the health issues are for somebody. I think getting a general, some of the basic stuff, CBC, chemistry, blood chemistry stuff, thyroid panels, as complete of thyroid panel as you can get. Some of the markers of inflammation are pretty useful. Oh, the other one that people don't get done enough, I think, is fasting insulin.
So if you really I've had that done a couple times.
Yeah. So insulin is your hormone that responds to your blood sugar. And so it's another way of understanding your metabolism. So
yeah.
It's that's another really good one. So it kind of depends on
we'll have Lerner on at one point.
We should, man. Yeah.
Turd.
You want to get on with this sometime, Troy? That'd be awesome. That'd be fun.
Now he's scared.
Little class of 94 reunion.
Oh,
jeez. Yeah, right. What else was I saying? So yeah, that could be something I could think about a little bit more and put together kind of a few suggestions for people on what to get tested and looked at, because
get
testosterone done.
Yeah. He's Wolf. You're not 30 yet, right, Wolf? I think he says like 29.
29, I think he said, yeah.
So like at 29 years old, you're going to the doctor and you're going to run some blood work. I mean, he's not going to ask for PSA, obviously, at 29. I think that's worth anything, especially if you don't have any history. I mean, what you mentioned a couple of things, but what else could he ask for? Yeah, 29.
Yeah, like I definitely would get testosterone, free and total testosterone, which they'll probably do. They should. I mean, if you wanted a really complete picture, get your vitamin D. You got to get your vitamin D levels.
Yeah.
Nothing more important right now than understanding your vitamin D levels. And that's an easy test. Yeah. What else? I mean, that kind of, lipid panels, understanding your lipids, cholesterol, some of that stuff, there's a lot of misinformation about that. That would actually be we could have a whole conversation about that. And that is a really useful thing to understand, because there's a lot of poor testing done. It's actually really easy to medicate people around cholesterol. So that's kind of all that's done. And unfortunately, people have issues with, there's other things to do in my opinion. You're going to get my opinion about it, of course. So, but
our opinions are fact, just so you guys know.
The way, the truth. That's right.
No leeway there.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Well,
what about like stress testing?
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, for sure. So those are a little more of the kind of naturopathic kind of testing that's out there. There are a beard like this with gray hair.
You want
Just
Coop,
got to
you're
get
gonna
to be
get gray hair before.
45.
I don't even know how old. I know. I'm pretty sure. I feel like at this point in my life, I can say that most people are younger than me.
Yeah.
Sadly,
No.
at least in the worlds I live in, maybe I don't know, maybe 50%. I don't know. I'm at that age, man. But don't worry, Coop, it's coming.
Yeah. This is basically all I can grow, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
Matt can't grow a real beard.
Compared to Shane, no.
I'll smoke you on beards.
Shane could have like this mountain man thing.
I'll have a mountain man beard in a week. I just shaved today. See that?
Yeah, well,
I already got a little bit of
the what else? Oh, you were talking about other testing.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So there's some more naturopathic kind of functional medicine testing that looks at like your adrenal function, which is your stress response.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool stuff. That's actually part of that other hormone test that, that I think you should do, Shane. So we could look at that and talk about that.
Yep.
There's a daily rhythms that we have with some of these hormones. That's really useful to know. So what, how, when is it high? When is it low? And when you know that stuff, and this is what's important, when you understand that stuff, you can actually make some better choices, about your life and what you're doing. Like when you wake up, when you go to bed, I mean, there's a lot, just simple stuff, right? It's not even, it's not even complicated, but so.
And those are all markers you can have and then continue to test as you grow into your elder years. I mean, obviously you want to chart your health just like you want to chart a stock, you want to chart whatever. I mean, I literally, my wife helps with a lot of this stuff.
You have graphs and tables?
Yeah.
You're one of those guys? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like to know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, in like the stock market and things move, things change, things move. It's a dynamic system, right? So, it's never perfect. It's never static. So,
yeah, for sure. What do you think about, so I see guys are asking this. Types of things you can like, what do you promote as far as like physical health? Resistance training.
So that's actually
cardiovascular training.
This is actually something that I am actively really engaged in learning about and understanding more
of investing into things
these days. Yeah, because I think I did it wrong for most of my life.
Both of us probably did.
Yeah. I mean, my history is I was a swimmer. I was super skinny and small and fast, but no muscle mass. And that is significant. And it's something that I'm working on right now really to build. So I think one of the most important things that people can do right now for their health is some level of something with resistance training.
Yeah.
Lift heavy things.
And why?
There is a lot of reasons why. The research is really getting clear about its effect on so many different things. I think hormones are probably the biggest thing. It's funny, Wolf, that you say that about lifting weights and your mustache growing in, because we know that lifting weights, especially squats and deadlifts and those big muscle groups, it actually raises testosterone levels.
Dude, it's so funny because my dad used to there's like the spicy stuff we used to eat and then how much weight we could lift. His comment every time was, do it. It puts hair on your chest. And I never understood what the hell that meant.
There's something behind it. I mean, it's pretty interesting. So I think it doesn't have to be like spending an hour in the gym and like building, huge, huge muscles all the time, but it's really about the engaging in the process and starting to build it. And there's a lot of ways to do that. It can be barbells, it can be resistance bands. There's actually a system that I use that we could talk more about. That's resistance bands. There's kettlebells and dumbbells and even body weight to some degree, if that's all you've got,
Yeah, you guys are doing push-ups every day and core exercise. Core is so important, I think.
Yeah.
Core is so
Well,
important. I think it's
guess what?
so neglected too.
Well, and if you're doing some of these things right, like if you're doing squats right and deadlifts right, you're
You're getting core.
you're activating your core.
Yeah, because I have a
You know?
functional trainer that I use,
Yeah.
and that functional trainer engages every ounce of core of my body, every exercise that I do.
Yeah. So core is kind of one of those things that people think they have to work. And yeah, okay, I get it if you really
You
want
can
to,
isolate stuff.
but you don't have to. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're doing the
You're
right
doing it right.
things, you're going to get, a lot of benefit from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, get lift heavy things. You know, we're meant to be moving, and we're so sedentary. Life is so convenient right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about the stuff we probably used to never think. You could get in a car now and go places. Before you had to walk. That's an example. Right. Or think about like farming before. Like you had to actually move the hay bales. Now you have a machine to do it. That's my point. We just don't lift. We don't move and use. And so
many ways. Technology has made us certainly.
There's certain things that's awesome with, but yeah, some things it's just really, I think. And here's the other thing. It makes you so much happier, like your mood and your, like some of the, I think engaging in the physical activity like that, and especially lifting.
If you're finding things because I mean, I get it. Some people just can't get into some of that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's hard to motivate if you're not into it.
Totally.
So you got to find something that works for you. Yeah. I mean, I know people that are in phenomenal shape and all they do is mountain bike. Mm-hmm. They don't lift weights. They don't do any other cardio. Like they just ride a lot, but you got to find something that like you get fired up for. And some guys just geek out on it. They just geek out on lifting weights, which is fine.
I'd argue that some of those people who just mountain bike, I think they should do a little bit of weights.
I agree.
That's not, I'm glad they mountain bike because if they enjoy it,
their lower body looks great. It's in shape.
But they better, I think they would be better off. Like I think it would be improve their health more. It would add more value to their health if they had some weight training. And and I, it's just really and that's what I was talking about earlier about like getting things moving, like that initial energetic movement forward, right? Like once you start it, you get the energy and you get the it just builds on itself, it just keeps going.
Yep. So, I mean, you gotta be positive about it. You gotta want to do it. And that energy kind of, like you said, it kind of builds up behind you as you're doing those things. That's in the direction of what you're either doing for your career, making money, and where you're putting your money. And same thing with your physical, mental health. If you're pushing in the right direction, you're doing the things that are working. Yeah. I mean, the results happen pretty fast and you feel better and you're more excited about it. And it just snowballs from there. So
it does. Yeah. And if younger you are, the easier it is because you have more habits. You build it for longer. Yep. I mean, I'm so grateful. I was telling a patient the other day about I don't know how my mom was so wise about certain things when I was a kid, but just the health habits that I just took on because she was aware of stuff and it just made other things in my life so much easier. Yeah. Going forward. And so, did I like it at the time? I mean, I don't know. Every kid wants to have, Jif peanut butter sandwiches on Wonder Bread, right? Like that's what you want.
I'm a peanut butter guy.
Well, you get what I'm saying, right? Everybody wants that, but my mom wouldn't give us that. She's like, no. Nope. Yeah. And so we had that peanut butter that separated out and couldn't spread, and if your friends come over, they make fun of you about it because you have the gross peanut butter instead of all this. But I think back on it, I'm just like, wow, like what a. She was, just someone that sort of saw the importance of that and really tried to instill that. And so I wish there were other things in my life that had that same level of strength, I guess, building in some ways, actual physical strength, but also some of the other, life is life. Well, it's okay. But
yep. And it's okay if you, like Wolf was saying, you fall off, but just get back up. It's okay. We all have our moments. I mean, like Matt says, life is life.
It's a long game.
It is. It's long-term investment.
So that's if you can, I think especially in health is we can be very like, it's got to go this way and it's got to look like this. It's got to be this fast, these
Right.
different time frames. And I understand that. And I want people to feel better quickly too. But sometimes it's like, hey, listen, it's taking you 30 years to get where you are. It's going to take you some time to improve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to go to sleep, Troy?
Sleep's a good conversation. Yeah, that's we can talk about that. A lot of aspects around sleep to talk about.
Water.
So sleep. Yeah, I mean, sleep, I think, is a function of a few things, particularly hormonally around cortisol balancing. Cortisol is designed to have it has a daily rhythm where it starts off. Let me do it in my hands here. So it starts off pretty low, but then right when you wake up, you have this big surge of cortisol, and they call it the cortisol awakening response, and it's what kind of gets you going. And then slowly over the day, cortisol starts to drop, and it actually drops in this kind of pretty steep way, and then it levels off, and then at night it slowly starts to rise, but not quite like it does right when you wake up. So you have this rhythm, and for a lot of people, cortisol is way too high at night, like it wakes them up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a stress response. It's often a blood sugar dysregulation response. Anyway, this is one aspect of sleep, right? That can be impacted, that I see a lot with people. Sometimes it's as simple as people just need like more magnesium or something like that.
Right.
Because we're just not eating the foods that have it in it. I mean, magnesium makes a huge difference for sleep. The other aspect is our gut health. And so many people just have such poor gut health that a lot of the neurotransmitters, like 80% of your neurotransmitters are made in the gut, which is something people don't realize, not made in your brain. And the reason I bring that up here with sleep is because if you, I think a lot of anxiety stems from the gut, and that keeps people awake, just the racing thoughts and the way the mind's working or at night, especially, if you wake up at, 3 a.m. and have all these thoughts and things like that. It's often some dysregulation in the gut and a lot of that. So, I'd say, so yeah, magnesium, I'd say both, but at bedtime for sure. That depends on, anywhere from 200 to 500 milligrams usually works. This isn't medical advice though. So
nothing on this channel's advice.
That's right. Ask your doctor.
Your doctor. Coop was yelling about BTC. I was just pulling it up while you were talking.
Oh yeah. So yeah, melatonin levels, that's often not too much of a problem for people, but sometimes it is. And that's actually, Shane mentioned earlier with his glasses with the blue light blocking.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys haven't looked into blue light, man, we could have a whole conversation about that. But blue light comes from
especially with everybody sitting in front of computers all the time. Blue
light comes from our computer screens, from our cell phones, things like that. If you can, it destroys your melatonin levels basically. And it's actually a really useful thing because in the morning when the sun's up, melatonin is a rhythm overnight, right? So you have it high at night to keep you asleep, and then as soon as the sun comes up, it goes away. But a lot of people, because they're on their computers so late, they have TVs in their room, things like that, they are exposed to blue light all the time, and then their melatonin levels never get high enough, and so there's actually glasses you can buy. Like these glasses I wear have a general film filter as well, but they have ones that are yellow and even red that block off different amounts of blue light. And so the people that have really significant blue melatonin at night issues, the red glasses are incredible. And you basically just put those on when the sun goes down and wear them.
And that's like inside and outside.
Mm-hmm.
Does it just?
Well, outside you probably don't need them, but
yeah,
you could, I guess, but
circadian rhythm. Stop watching TV until 11 o'clock at night, Coop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people, it's really about that level of just turn off your screens, turn off your computer, turn off your TV. Don't get that stuff out of your bedroom. Even if you sit on your couch and watch it before you go to bed, that's better than having it in your bedroom. That's always my advice.
Or checking your crypto.
Don't have your phone in your bedroom. Don't have your TV in the bedroom. Don't watch it to fall asleep.
Because I mean, that's just like caffeine and everything else. It gets addictive.
Yeah, it's the worst thing for your melatonin levels. I mean, they even make these light bulbs that are red light bulbs that you can put in. For like if you have to go to the bathroom or something like that, right? Like you turn it on,
right?
So you don't break down your melatonin at night.
Yeah, so no, that's important. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for joining us, Troy. Good to hear from you, man.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
We should catch up soon, man.
For sure. I'm not going to even keep looking at this crypto. It's making me vomit right now. We'll be okay tomorrow.
It'll bounce back.
Well, speaking of that, I'm going to keep into my rhythm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go head down and I'm going to get some dinner.
Yeah.
But this was a good first episode, Dr. Matt.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
It's fun. It's fun.
We will definitely progress on this. There's so many things we're going to get into on this. I think it'll be really, really fun. I think there's so many things that incorporate the two worlds of money and body. I think they're so interlaced. I just think it's a fascinating thing to kind of like dive into for sure. So
yeah,
it should be pretty good. And Dr. Matt certainly is into investing in all kinds of things too. He's no stranger to money.
I'm learning. Yeah.
But it's gonna be good. I'm excited. We're gonna do this every Wednesday. I think this time is pretty good for both of us too. So we'll obviously have everything up ahead of time for posts. So make sure you guys, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell.
Thanks for joining us. And if anybody else would be interested in checking us out, please share.
Go follow Dr. Matt on Instagram.
Yeah, Dr. Matt Reddy.
He posts a lot of good information on there all the time. He's actually good with social media as far as like using it for what it should be probably used for. So you guys want to pressure's on.
There's a lot.
If you guys grab information, he's certainly the guy to do it.
Try to filter through some of the noise and make it digestible. So
yeah, for sure. But we got lots more to talk about for sure. So keep an eye out every Wednesday. We'll be doing this. I think that's all I got.
Cool,
I keep looking at this chart and I should probably just turn it off. Speaking of blue light.
It's time, man. We got to get outside and get a little sunshine, right?
It's been sunny for 24 hours. So
it feels good.
Thank God. Need to stop the rain for a few days so I can continue to work.
Right. I hear you.
Yes, sir. Well, cool. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yo, what up, Tigga? That's my guy right there. But we'll try and keep it consistent so you guys know when. Love the questions. Love the participation.
Yeah, thanks everybody. That was awesome.
Dr. Matt is he's all about it. So we're gonna keep building our wealth and health as the weeks progress.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out. I hope everybody has a good night. Go take care of yourself this evening. Stay off the screens before bed. Don't look at your wallets tonight.
Stay away from your wallets. Exactly.
Good
advice.
The other markets are just don't worry about it right now. Just go be with yourself or your family or whoever, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dr. Matt.
You bet, man. Thanks.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys.